Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. My guest today is sought after keynote speaker and employee and customer experience designer, Marc Haine. Marc leverages empathy and experience journey mapping to help organizations design the kinds of culture and experiences today's customers and employees not only expect, but deserve. Not only that, but he is the author of Lights, Camera, Action, a business operational excellence through the lens of theater. So what an introduction. Marc, welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I had the honor of being on Marc's podcast last week.
Check
And
it out.
check it out. Go to check out Marc's YouTube channel. He's got such great stuff there. And today we're going to talk about culture and engagement. So, Marc, every person I ask has a different definition of what engagement means to them or to their business. So what does engagement mean to you? What are you seeing out there?
It's so funny that the engagement has changed over the years. It used to be that when people hired you, they wanted you because you had your hands in. They needed the hands. They needed you to do the work. And then the industrial age came along and really kind of maximized that. And so engagement was all about, I have to do the work because you know what, if I do a really good job, then maybe my kids can come and work for you and so on. And so people were internally motivated to make sure that they represented their family and their family name and that sort of thing. The knowledge worker age came and it said, hey, we want your brains too. We want to leverage what your knowledge is. And so it's the hands and the brains. And now more than anything else, it's more of a relational relationships now with employees and employers. And so now we not only want the hands and the brains, we also want the heart. And really that's, for me, the definition of the true engagement is that you have people's passion and their heart into it as well.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. It's such a beautiful way to put it, right? People show up at work. Yes, they will execute their job as they're being paid to, but what does their heart tell them? What is that extra little magic that they're going to give to their everyday, right?
Right.
And
Yeah, it's funny because you and I did our show on quiet quitting, and we talked about this thing. And really, where the quiet quitting comes in is when people aren't passionate about what they're doing. It's really easy to distance yourself from the work that you're doing or for the team that you're supposed to be working with, and so on.
I worked for several large organizations, and in each case, I was very engaged. There's nothing more energetic than an employee in the first 6 months, right? Just so excited to make a name for themselves and make a difference. And in each organization, at some point, I can remember the exact moment where I emotionally disengaged. It was like a twink, like I physically felt it. It was, in some cases, it was a meeting or a conversation, or it was just like, for whatever reason, that was the last straw. And it might have taken me a year and a half to find a new job after that, but like it was broken and it happened so quick. So seeing as how important this is, you talk with a lot of businesses. What are the big obstacles that you see out there hindering this type of engagement?
I think more than anything else, I think leaders have too much to do. I think the leaders, to the point before about our evolution in the workplace, it used to be that the leaders were the carrot and stickers. They're the ones holding the carrot and the stick, pushing people to do the work. Now we have to migrate from actual leaders doing the work to leaders being the coach and the mentors in the workplace. Their first job description should be servicing their team members. I was married who said, if you take care of your employees, the employees will take care of your customers, and your customers will always keep coming back. And to that bit, when I was coming up, when I think probably mid-20s, I had a French Canadian manager who came up to me one day and goes, "Who are you serving?" I said, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Who are you serving?" I said, I guess I'm serving customers. He goes, "If you're not serving the customer, you better be serving someone who is."
Okay, I love it.
And so that, for me, that became the service definition of what leadership should be doing. Is we need to migrate now. Leaders have to get the tasks off their plate, delegate the tasks off, and they need to be then taking a more active leadership role with their teams.
I love that. It's often the person that's best at their job that's promoted. So they're already the most desired. And they're like, by the way, when you're sleeping, you can manage your team, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the, not the
And to your
reality.
point, that's the other thing that needs to happen. We need to take time to train people. When we promote them, we need to give them the tools to be able to move forward. I had one person who I was talking to, business owner, and he says, "Well, what happens if I train them and they leave?" And I said, "Well, the worst case scenario is what happens if you don't train them and they stay."
Right? You should be far more afraid of that, I
Yeah.
would think.
You would
Right?
think.
So, okay. So, do you have some favorite examples or thoughts on what the best companies out there with the highest engagement levels, what are they doing in the next year? In 2023 is coming up, it's the end of the year 2022. What are companies doing now to promote this type of engagement?
It's funny that you should ask.
Okay.
So where we really need to be leaning to is this
Yeah.
idea that we need to understand that employees are on a journey with us. I think what happens, and here's a perfect example. Would you treat your 5-year employee the same way you would treat the employee on their first day? And the
I
answer to
think,
that is absolutely not. The person who's coming in on the very first day needs all sorts of help and so on. And the 5-year employee are experienced and they've been there and so on, which tells me that if people evolve through a pattern with us. And so my belief system is that they are on a journey with us and they hit these several milestones. And you said it yourself, Adam, that you can mark it the time and date on the calendar when you automatically became disengaged. Something happened. Your need wasn't being fulfilled. You had questions that were left being unanswered, and because of that, you pulled back and you thought, you know what? Maybe I am not as important here as I think I am. Maybe my contribution is not as important as I think I want to be. And because of that, you pulled away. And this happens time and time again. So the good companies are able to look at the different criteria, these different milestones within the organization, and be able to fulfill needs and answer the questions that the employees have at each one of these milestones.
Interesting.
Would you like an example?
Yeah, I would love an example.
So we know customer buying journey. We know we have personas for customers. We also have personas and prospects for employees coming in. People who come in and look at the job ad or whatever, they become prospects to come in. Are you talking their language? When they come in, you're offering them a bill of goods when they come in, and you're interviewing them and you're telling them a little bit about your company and so on. And so when they turn around and sign on and say, yes, I want to work for you, they become this newbie. And to your point, that first 6 months, that is the best, most engaged people will ever be.
Yeah.
But when they come on, they get into this role of the taker. It's all about me. It's all about, I have to maintain my job, but you know what? You promised me a pay raise. You promised me that I'll get a certain number of hours. You promised me a schedule. You promised me work-life balance and all these different things. After a while, their drive to fulfill their own basic needs start melding with, what can I do to help out? And so this is where they start melding now into this more extrinsic mindset, where it's like, okay, I'm doing this for me, but what else can I do to help you? How can I be part of this? Mm-hmm. And then they migrate from that into being ambassadors, where they're just giving their heart and soul to you because they believe so strongly in what they're doing. But this is a heavy, heavy tightrope. And then this tightrope, they can fall off at any time and hit the pit of the tainted, as you did on that one day where you could mark it on the calendar.
Yeah, I love that, Mark. I always think, sometimes people say to me, yeah, we're engaged. I'm going to hold a barbecue, right? Barbecue seems to be the one symbolic solution to all the problems, right?
If we can get people to eat together, we will solve that problem.
Yeah, right. Hot dogs and hamburgers, that's all we need in life. But I do believe if you're going to hold some kind of team building event or whatever, that there should be some thought and structure behind it. And I love this idea of being like, okay, who are my ambassadors? Who's kind of in that extrinsic area? Who's still new? And, why don't I sit the ambassadors with these people? Why don't I come up with an exercise where the different ones from different groups all have to work together, and I'm kind of developing connection, right? We had fun. It was great. We had some food. But at the end of it, I kind of secretly made a little point there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's always some smart ways to do that.
Yeah. And, to your point, I mean, being able to sit down with your ambassadors and find out why they're their ambassadors is always a really strong point of being, you're able to fulfill one group's expectations and needs and so on. And how come not everybody is like that? When you see the engagement rate now is at an all-time low within organizations, it's like, this is scary. And so doing stay interviews is probably one of the most, and probably the easiest tool that any leader can do with their team. When you sit down with your one-on-ones and stuff, is like, why are you here? What are we doing well? What can we improve on? How can we make you go better? How can we fulfill your needs and your aspirations?
I think
I'm willing to hear the answers, right?
Right? Yeah, the hard answers, and what a magical experience, not just an exit interview, but a stay interview. I heard a really great example from Zappos and from Delivering Happiness. That was the book by Tony Zig that he wrote. And the example was, they asked everyone, what does the culture here mean to you? And people would write whatever they did, and they put it in a book and they distribute it. Good, bad, or ugly. They gave it out so that people could read it and check it out. What an amazing way to propagate culture and to get those answers and be like, okay, clearly there's some patterns here or things there, but we're sharing it, we're talking about it. And I just thought, I will do that one day. I just thought that was the most brilliant, just vulnerable thing that a leadership could do. I thought that was amazing.
What a way to build trust as well, right? Because you might have one or two employees who are going to go, oh, I'll tell them what I think. And then they'll write it down, right? And then it's like, they won't publish it. They won't dare to publish it because this is a PR stunt and this is just a feel good thing. And then when they see it's published, it's like, hey, wait a second, maybe they are serious.
Watch me, right? And it gives me a chance to acknowledge whoever wrote it. I don't know who it was anonymous, but we're here from you. We'd love to chat. We want you to be. So anyway, that's, this has been amazing, Marc. I really appreciate your insight and your wisdom. I feel like we could chat about this all day.
Oh, I bet we could.
And I'm super excited to see you when you come down in October to do your talk on the light camera action, which I'm super intrigued by. But yeah, until then, we'll dig
a little bit deeper into this idea of this milestone and journey, experience journey.
Okay, perfect, amazing. And if someone wants to get a hold of you or ask a question, what's the best way that they can reach out to you?
Best way is marchaine.com. That's MarcHaine.com. Marc with a C.
Yeah,
and just reach out. And you can go and check out the YouTube channel is marchainelive.com. And you can check out all the videos, all the resources there. We put it out specifically because each week we want to solve a business problem that'll make businesses better.
Amazing. Well, you're to hear first. Thanks, Marc.
You're awesome, Adam. Thanks so much.
Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.